John Gwynne, it's a historic day for the PDC. 25 years ago today, December the 28th, 1993, the first ever PDC World Championship began down at the Circus Tavern. It was the start of an incredible journey.
It really was. It was the first ever darts broadcast on Sky Sports. Jeff Stelling was the host, a great friend of mine now, Jeff, not just through darts but also Soccer Saturday football. And it was so exciting, Dave, because it was the culmination of 4 or 5 years of really hard work, and with no mean amount of bitterness because of the schism, the dispute with the BDO and the eventual breakaway. And of course the reigning world champion John Lowe was part of the Circus Tavern team.
Those 14 players plus, you know, some Americans and Canadians who came in to top the field up to
yes,
24.
The 14 players are the players who I believe now are those that the modern players have to be reminded of, the sacrifice they made, the chance they took. Their careers could have come to a bitter end if it hadn't worked. But that first World Championship at the Circus Tavern, I can remember driving down to East London to Essex, the borders there, just off the M25, and seeing this Circus Tavern for the first time. And it had a big adverts all over the window saying WDC World Championship, and it had all the pictures of the various players there: Eric Bristow, Jockey Wilson, John Lowe, Alan Warriner, Rod Harrington, and so on, and Dennis Priestley, so on and so on. And it was so exciting. Cliff Lazarenko, massive name as well as a massive person, but it's so exciting. And I thought, well, this is the beginning possibly now of something really, really exciting and big. It's a new adventure. And it came after we'd had a number, I suppose, I hesitate to call them dummy runs, but in a way that's what they were, because we had done a number of weekend competitions on ITV in the regions, the first in the autumn of '92, so 18 months, 15 to 18 months before the first World Championship. And Dave Lanning and I had done the commentary on those, and Dave and I were the first ever darts commentators on Sky Sports.
And back then it was over and done within a week. There were 24 players playing in a round-robin phase at first. Dennis Priestley went on to lift the title with that famous win over Phil as well. Yes,
14 players who had broken away. There were originally 16, but 2 went back, so 14 players who broke away. Eric was the most prominent of them. He was 5 times world champion, the biggest name in the game. Phil Taylor obviously had won 2 titles with the BDO. Dennis Priestley had won a title with the BDO. John Lowe had won 3 titles with the BDO and was the reigning champion from 1993. Bob Anderson had also, he was a former world champion. Jockey Wilson had twice won the world title over with the BDO. So there was no shortage of star attraction, no doubt about that. People will argue that 1 or 2 perhaps were just a little bit over the hill and past their sell-by date, but the attraction of it was absolutely brilliant. And the field was made up by a number of Americans, some of whom were pretty good, some of whom were, to be frank, fill-ins, and they weren't great. But they were there, and they made up that field of 24, 8 groups of 3, and each group winner went through to the quarter-final, as I remember. And it may have been the 2 in each group go through to the 16, then the quarters. But certainly we came to the knockout stage, and that's when it really started to happen, and it was great.